land of Africa, where all the wild animals live. And I'm here this morning to tell you an incredible story. So being a genius and being a visionary and being a hero, which I believe there is in every one of us, is about having a great idea and believing in that great idea and then taking steps and actions to create that idea and making the magic happen and being able to make that dream come true and change the lives of other people. I come from a big wave surfing background. I used to surf giant waves the size of 5-story buildings. But I also stand-up paddleboard, and as soon as I started stand-up paddleboarding and doing long distance, 12-hour, 24-hour records, then I decided to try and change the lives of millions of little kids by paddling across the Atlantic Ocean. So I built something that has never been built before, something that I designed myself to take everything that I use from stand-up paddleboarding, from big wave surfing, and took it across into adding electronics and robotics to be able to allow me to make something that would get me across the Atlantic Ocean. And it was called the Impy Fish, which is a very specialized stand-up paddleboard. Oh. And there we go. So it was very, very high, very advanced. It was driven by solar panels. So you've got the solar panels on the front. It had a lot of electronics inside, which was all powered by the solar, including the water desalination unit, so it could change seawater into fresh water, and all the electronics like radar, EPIRB, GPS, global positioning systems, VHF radios, special tracking systems and devices in order to be able to get me across the Atlantic Ocean. But I still had to paddle the entire journey. And when you're doing this journey alone with no support or assistance, when you look at your journey, I was using GPS and satellite navigation to be able to monitor my route along the entire journey, over 7,500 kilometers in the shape of a smile across the Atlantic Ocean from Africa to the Americas. And we are doing it in order to raise money to be able to pay for operations for kids with cleft palate, cleft lip, to be able to put their smiles back. And that's what we are raising the money for, to be able to do this journey, which was my purpose for why we did it. But it was very important to incorporate all the very high-end electronics and robotics, like the satellite communication device I have in my hand, which I was communicating to find out the weather, get updates on my forecast, to be able to speak to people in South Africa, all the electronics that you see inside to be able to monitor my journey, where I was going, so the ships wouldn't run me over during the night. But just because I had the electronics, it wasn't easy. I still had to paddle every single stroke, and I paddled over 2,576,280 strokes. And this is a good example. In the middle of one of the biggest storms, you can see the waves got to over the height of this building, and through the night I was getting turned upside down inside my little cabin. And I had a giant squid trying to drag me underneath the ocean. I had multiple great whites that were trying to attack me during my journey. Wow. And then I used the special electronics and robotics that would monitor my inside of my cabin. This was my special chart plotter, which would show that this is my craft over here with me, and all these 12 objects around me are all giant super tankers that are over 1 kilometer long that were going past me through the night, which was incredibly scary because I thought they were going to run me over. But because of the electronics and the radar, they could see me on their radar system, so they used to come almost right next to me in the middle of the night. I was very fortunate that I also had a very special robotic arm that was attached to my steering system, so even when the storms were severe and I was paddling across the conditions, the rod of the arm would keep my rudder to the right angle so I could go across it even when the storms were really hectic. And that's what the major help was from adding on specific robotics on this journey. And after 93 days and 93 terrifying nights standing up and paddling alone across the entire Atlantic Ocean, after 7,500 kilometers, I finished in Antigua in the Caribbean. So by the time I finished, I was really a pirate of the Caribbean. When we have an idea, we can all use those ideas by adding on electronics and robotics to be able to help change the world and change the lives of millions of little people. And this is a great little example of a video clip that will show you what that journey was about, so enjoy it.